He slept in his car on Atlanta streets, broke, evicted, no connections. Today he owns 330 acres of Georgia and earns $200 million a year. What happened in between will change how you see money. Stay till the very end. In late 1996, Tyler Perry had three things: a dream, a pen, and a 1989 Honda Accord that doubled as his bedroom for 3 months. He was born Emmett Perry Jr. in New Orleans, Louisiana, on September 13, 1969. His father was violently abusive. The household was poor. At just 16, he changed his first name from Emmett to Tyler specifically to sever the psychological link to that man. That single decision tells you everything about how he operates. He does not endure circumstances. He rewrites them. He never completed high school. He earned his GED later, then bounced between jobs, selling used cars, tending bar, waiting tables, collecting debts at a law firm. But every leftover dollar from every paycheck, every tax return, went into one place. By age 22, he had accumulated $12,000. He moved to Atlanta and put every cent into staging a play he wrote himself, called I Know I've Been Changed. He drove the truck, built the sets, promoted the shows to black churches across the city. The theater was nearly empty on opening night. The show ran 6 days and flopped completely. He lost all $12,000. He could not pay rent. The landlord threw him out. For 3 months in late 1996, Perry slept in his car or in homeless shelters. His mother called and begged him to get a stable job. He told her no. Here is what most people miss when they tell this story. Perry was not just refusing to quit. He was studying. Every empty seat was data. Every failed show was information. And he was about to discover that the audience Hollywood ignored was actually the most loyal paying audience in America. The strategy that earned $150 million before a single Hollywood executive ever picked up his call is coming next. Perry did not wait for Hollywood to open a door. He built the whole building. He took his plays directly to the people who needed them: black churches, urban community theaters, gospel circuit venues from Atlanta to Chicago to Detroit to Houston. He loaded his own truck, traveled his own route, and posted his own flyers. No agent, no publicist, no industry backing whatsoever. At first, the crowds were small. Then they doubled. Then they exploded. At his peak on the touring urban theater circuit, Tyler Perry was selling 35,000 tickets per week, every single week. His character Madea, a sharp-tongued grandmother he portrayed himself in a wig, reading glasses, and a floral dress, became a full cultural phenomenon. The audience Hollywood had written off as non-consumers was buying $50 tickets, filling arenas, and showing back up every time. Before any film, before any television deal, before one studio knew his name, Tyler Perry had already earned over $100 million from theater ticket sales alone. Add $20 million from Madea merchandise. Add $30 million from VHS and DVD recordings of live performances he sold directly to fans. $150 million. Self-funded, self-distributed, fully owned. He did not need the cosign. He already had the receipts. But here is the contract for his first film. The terms inside it are a masterclass that Hollywood quietly hoped nobody would replicate. Stay with it. In 2005, Tyler Perry released his first feature film, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. He put up $5.5 million of his own money to produce it. He brought Lionsgate in as a distributor, but the terms were not standard. Lionsgate received a 12% distribution fee and a modest marketing cut. Profits got split evenly. Most critically, Perry retained ownership of the film itself. The masters stayed with him. The film opened at number 2 at the domestic box office with a $21 million opening weekend. Domestic gross, $50.6 million. Television syndication and home video revenue pushed total earnings past $200 million. Under those terms, Perry kept close to $100 million from one film he made for $5.5 million. Hollywood called it a fluke. Perry called it a proof of concept. He went on to produce 11 Madea films with Lionsgate over 14 years. That franchise grossed over $670 million at the box office. He owned every frame. When the deal ended, every asset stayed with him, not with a corporation. His content catalog today includes 1,200 television episodes, 22 feature films, and at least 24 stage plays. Not one of those titles was surrendered to a studio in exchange for budget financing. Not one. That catalog generates between $200 million and $250 million in annual income, consistently, every single year. Forbes documents Tyler Perry's pre-tax earnings since 2005 at over $1 $4 billion total. In 2022, Tyler Perry ranked as the highest-paid entertainer on the entire planet at $175 million in 1 year. Now you're probably wondering what a man earning $200 million annually decides to spend his money on. He buys Confederate land. On purpose. In June 2015, he paid $30 million for 330 acres in southwest Atlanta. That land carried deep history. Fort McPherson was a U.S. Army installation established in 1885. During World War I, it trained nearly 20,000 recruits and treated over 10,000 wounded soldiers. It held German prisoners of war. The base closed in 2011 after 126 years of military service and had been sitting dormant ever since. But the layer underneath that history is what made Perry's purchase one of the most powerful cultural statements of the 21st century. Confederate Army forces once used that same Georgia ground to plan how to keep black people enslaved. Perry stood on the property and told CBS This Morning directly, "The Confederate Army is fighting to keep Negroes enslaved in America, planning on this very ground. And now this very ground is owned by me." He then invested $250 million transforming it. Tyler Perry Studios is today larger in total acreage than any major Hollywood studio in Los Angeles. It has 12 purpose-built sound stages, each named after a black Hollywood icon: Oprah Winfrey, Halle Berry, Harry Belafonte, the late John Singleton. It has a near-exact White House replica, an airport terminal, a 1950s-style diner physically relocated from a town 100 miles away, a full residential street, a golf course, 2 baseball fields, a strip mall, its own dedicated exit sign on Georgia State Route 166. Black Panther filmed there. First Man filmed there. Miss NBC held the 2019 Democratic presidential debate on the Oprah Winfrey soundstage. Miss Universe 2019 took the stage on that lot. 40 buildings within a 33-acre historic district on the property sit on the National Register of Historic Places. Perry preserved every one of them. He did not erase the history, he reclaimed it. And when the highway sign directing drivers to Tyler Perry Studios was installed, Perry noticed it sat directly adjacent to the exit for Sylvan Road, the exact street, the exact address where a landlord had evicted him years before. He wrote publicly, "My eyes filled with water knowing what God has allowed to happen in my life. That is not a rags to riches story. That is a full reversal of history, engineered by one man." But the studio was only one layer. The deal Perry signed with Viacom is where the empire became nearly impossible to dismantle. In 2017, Tyler Perry signed a comprehensive deal with Viacom, parent company of BET, and Paramount Pictures. The deal required him to produce approximately 90 television episodes per year across BET platforms, and gave Paramount Pictures exclusive first-look rights on his feature films. On paper, that looks like Perry entering the traditional studio pipeline. It was the opposite. Perry negotiated $150 million annually from Viacom, and he retained ownership of every piece of content he produced under the deal. Viacom was paying him to use his studio, his infrastructure, and his creative output, while he kept every intellectual property right. He collected the fee and kept the asset simultaneously. On top of that, he secured a 25% equity stake in BET Plus. So every subscriber who joins BET Plus to watch a Tyler Perry show is growing a streaming platform that Tyler Perry partly owns. The content drives subscriptions. The subscriptions grow the platform. Perry owns a quarter of the platform. He is monetizing the audience from 3 directions at once. He wrote the check and kept the IP. That is what vertical integration looks like at the highest level it has ever been executed by a single black creator in Hollywood history. And now comes the move that revealed exactly what kind of operator Tyler Perry truly is. Because in 2024, he did something most people at his level are simply unable to do. In February 2024, Tyler Perry announced he was pausing an $800 million expansion of Tyler Perry Studios. The expansion, already announced and already moving, would have added major new soundstage infrastructure and cemented his studio as the undisputed largest production facility in the country. Perry stopped it. He stated publicly that rapid advances in AI video generation technology had created genuine uncertainty about long-term demand for traditional physical soundstage production. He watched artificial intelligence accelerate across the visual content industry and decided that an $800 million commitment to physical infrastructure was a gamble the data no longer fully supported. He then called on the entire entertainment industry to lobby together for federal legislation regulating AI in Hollywood. Sit with that for a moment. A man who built his entire empire on owning physical infrastructure, who spent $250 million converting a former army base into a studio campus, who constructed 12 sound stages from scratch, looked at his next $800 million and walked away because the math shifted. That is not retreat. That is the same discipline he exercised in 1996 when he refused to take a safe job while sleeping in a car. The same precision that kept him in the urban theater circuit, building $150 million in cash before Los Angeles acknowledged him. The same logic that made him negotiate ownership into every single deal he ever signed. He does not chase momentum. He reads the room. And when the room changes, he moves first. From the streets of Atlanta to 330 acres of reclaimed Georgia earth. From $12,000 in lifetime savings to $1.4 billion in documented pre-tax earnings. From a car parked on Sylvan Road to a studio with its own highway exit right beside that same road. Tyler Perry did not build wealth. He built a blueprint. Subscribe, like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Next video, check out inside LeBron James' billion-dollar Ohio empire and how he started as a kid with nothing to owning a city. It is queued up for you right now. See you in the next one.